Now I gotta ride or die.
So guys, welcome back to the channel. Today you join me from the driver's seat of a 2011 BMW 135i, a generational insane coupe. This thing is pretty mad because I want to get on to the idea of this being a potential modern classic. It's been a while since we've actually been in one of these, so make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, but onwards to the B roads. So 2011 N55 engine, so it's a twin scroll 3 litre, but this is the DCT variant. So if you're after a DCT, this is what I'm driving today. It does come with a little bit of a premium. It is a very lovely car. I must admit, the first thing, you know, coming from my M4 that I had, you know, I've just sold maybe a month ago, it isn't that far away from that car, if I'm quite honest. It's very comfortable. These seats are fantastic. The driving positions, although a little bit smaller than, you know, say a 4 Series, 3 Series, it is, of course, a 1 Series smaller car, but it doesn't feel that dissimilar to that generation, or at least that car. It actually feels pretty compact in a good way, but this one, of course, isn't standard. It is running a Stage 2 Plus. You change the mapping and pops and bangs and stuff from this car with your phone, which is really, really cool. Again, this generation, the come up is you can do a lot to these. You can do a lot of software tweaking. So this one, it's running just shy of 390 as we put it into sport mode. It's running just shy of 390 horsepower and just over 680 Newton meters of torque in a 1 Series. Absolutely insane. And that's no, you know, crazy turbocharger and this and that. None of that. This is just mapping and some fettling with ECUs and stuff, which just makes this car. You also get, as we go into sport mode, pops and bangs with this one. The severity of the pops and bangs has been turned down slightly in this one today, but so 3rd gear, 3,000 RPM. She screams right round. That is absolutely that's quite fast, that, for a little car. Oh, the bangs are nice. Bangs are really nice out of the back. And that, again, that's turned down pops and bangs for today because it does get pretty aggressive. You can put the aggression with the MHD mapping. But today we've turned it down a little bit. You don't want to get it too aggressive. But I think this is the you know, the about right setting that you would have this on. It's also lowered on I-back springs and it is sat on these lovely OZ wheels. Look the part, in my opinion. Actually noticed too much of the open diff squirreling the car around. Something to point out, this isn't an M car. M Performance didn't come, I'm assuming they didn't come with a diff from the factory. I have done, you know, tried to do as much research as possible today, but I don't feel like these cars were available with a diff. If they were, I haven't driven one with a diff yet. I haven't seen one with a diff yet, but of course you can buy an aftermarket diff and put them in these cars, which is of course the thing you would do. And I feel like today, hot day, nice day, you know, we've got some nice roads, not too many bumps and stuff. I haven't noticed the open diff, but I did when I drove a 140 of, you know, a little bit more power than this. I noticed it straight away from my M4. So there's one thing to point out. If you are after one of these, be very wary that the open diff at the back will, of course, be something that you'll want to assess. I feel like these need a diff. I feel like rear-wheel drive powerful cars need diffs in them. Other things to point out, if you are after one of these, they've held their money very, very well. I do feel like they are holding their money well. Convertibles kick for around, you know, just under 10, you know, 10 grand. You can get a relatively high mileage, not very nice spec, not very nice colour one of these for around 12 to 13. I have seen one for 10 with very high mileage on it. This one I'm driving today, having a good look around and have a look for yourself. They're about 15, 16 grand for a low mileage, or at least good mileage, good spec one of these. And that is slight testament to this era of BMW. They are still commanding really, really good money for a very nice one. In fact, when we shot one of these, you know, I think it was a manual one, that was still around 13 grand for that car. So in all fairness, they've really held their money. That, I don't think that's just COVID tax either. I genuinely think that is something that I've noticed across the board over the years, is that this generation of 135 has held its money really, really well. 55 engine as well, not necessarily bulletproof, but it is very, very reliable. If you are after one of these and you're an owner, you'll know full well of the few drawbacks you'll get of the header tank splitting, valvetronics and motor going a bit funny. But because this is, again, an N55 engine, it doesn't suffer from the wastegate rattle that you would get on the others. So something to point out if you're after a 335, say, that will probably come with this generation's wastegate rattle, you know, turbos going, all that other stuff. These ones, not too bad in a sense, but of course, you know, take that as you wish. BMWs seem to have a, you know, recurring thing. M4s have a recurring thing. M2s this generation, they all sort of seem to have something that needs to be assessed. So you need to assess that pretty quickly in your ownership. And the owner of this car is 20 years old. It is fully insured with all the mods on it, you know, power, everything. And it's £1,079 to insure, which I don't think is loads of money. If this was an M135, a newer generation, and it had mods and stuff, he did, you know, a little look in, and they were about 2-3 grand for a car like that to insure. So big difference there. If you were to get, it's not quoted as an M performance car, that's the thing. So you're probably better off in one of these. You're going to get cheaper insurance in theory, but of course, do your own research, make sure you're jumping in the right car, you don't get any unexpected insurance bills. And as a drive, this car, yes, don't get me wrong, from this era, the body chassis in a sense is like all the others, but the powertrain, the brakes, everything, you've got big 6-pot brakes on this one. It does a very, very good job of stopping, going around corners. I just feel like if you are jumping in one of these, there is other cars out there. There is 140s, there's 135s for the same, you know, an M135 for the same money. I don't think you should get one. I think this generation of BMW was, you know, one of the best in my opinion. And I feel like if you're gonna jump in one of these, do it soon, because they're only keep going up. I feel like the 1M from this generation has held the prices up of these performance coupes, pops and bangs coming out the back, and they're not going down, or I don't think they're going down. So maybe it's a shout to get in one. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did like today's video, please give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let me know below if you're an owner of one of these cars or would like one. I'd like to know your stories in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.